Assalamualaikum. Hi, Zamil.
Waalaikumsalam, Doktor.
Yes, Aiman. Kishore is here. Daniel Aris, Badi Surya, okay. Aris Rija. Cheryl, Azizi, Daniel Haris, Muhammad Aiman, Amirul. How are you? Liani, Akida, Wong Weliang, Zamil. Just finish your class? Yes, what do you say? Good afternoon, Kishore. All right, so we can start slowly, yeah? So you're coming, most of you. We see it's a very short one, but maybe after this you can discuss the projects if you have any questions on the projects too, that you're supposed to do as well. All right. So yeah, there's a lot of, thank you so much. Some of you have collaborated, have put some questions, some answers over here. I can see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Very good. Okay, so let's start. Can we start? Can we? Yeah.
Yes, Doctor.
Thank you. All right. Slowly lah. I'm sure the others are coming, but this group might have about 30 people, I guess. Yeah, less than 30. Okay, never mind. So we're going to discuss, I think the question are straightforward, right? Number one, maybe why are different views applied? Yeah, we show only parts of the requirements instead of displaying all requirements and attributes. Which of the following statements are true and which are false? Okay, so you have number A. Okay, you said that this is true. Not the whole document has to be read for a particular perspective. That's why we have different views. This is true. Yeah, exactly. This is true. It should be true. Yeah, because we need to be able to provide only relevant views, to the relevant stakeholders. Okay. How about B? To support the review process, requirements which belong together are grouped together. This is true as well, right? So that's why that's also the purpose of having different views. Yeah, we in the review process will only allow all the requirements, that they are already grouped, together, which are quite similar. They will be grouped together, and then this will be given to the, the responsible stakeholders, to review that particular requirements. Okay, so that's also, I think, in another way saying that to support the review process, requirements which belong together are also grouped together, and they will be assigned to the relevant stakeholders, basically. Correct, yeah. So B is correct, yeah, true. Okay, how about C and D? All right, so we go to D first, yeah. It's advisable to let several people work on one specification at the same time at different location. It doesn't matter basically right now. Many of us are working online, yeah. But what is matter is that it's advisable to let several people work on one specification, but not at the same time, yeah, because there can be changes and we want the changes to be seen by the other party as well. So it's not advisable to let several people work on one specification at the same time. Yeah, because most of the time the people can either work at the same location or different location. Yeah, it doesn't matter right now, I think. But the most important is we doesn't want them to be able to do the changes, yeah. And then it's quite difficult to actually synchronize, between them, yeah. So that's the reason we say that this statement is false, yeah. Unless the view has a more sophisticated updates, yeah, they're able to actually once a while try to update them together, yeah. So it's quite difficult for us to have all the synchronous at one time. So in this case, it's not advisable, to let several people work on one specification at the same time, at different location. So it's false. D is false. Exactly, yeah. So how about D? How about D? So maybe Kishore, can you what do you understand from C statement? From statement C? Sorry, I just asked you because I saw your
I
name
think it
first.
should be true because requirements that are not related to some stakeholders, there's no point in us to show those requirements to them. For example, stakeholders that are not so related to technical parts. What's the point of showing requirements related to technical? So I think we can hide those requirements from them.
Correct. Yeah, I will agree with you. So in that state, how does it relate to statement C? Do you
I
agree or
think
disagree?
it should be true. It
Should be true. So
Yes.
what do you understand just now? The requirements for which certain stakeholders should not have reading access, so they don't have reading access. So should you make it invisible or visible to them?
Invisible to them.
The requirement in which certain stakeholders should not have reading access. So should you make it visible or invisible to them? I just take the first statement there. So requirement for which certain stakeholders should not have reading access. And then should we make them visible or invisible to them, to these stakeholders? Kishore, do I confuse you? I just asked you whether,
invisible? Is it invisible?
Should be invisible, yeah? Should be invisible or visible?
Invisible.
Is visible because they don't have access, right? So if they don't have access, so we shouldn't allow them to see. So in other words, you're saying that C is correct.
Yes.
Yes, yes. I think that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. For me, if you try to understand this statement, yeah, the statement is trying to say that if the stakeholders do not have reading access, then we should make the stakeholders, the requirements invisible to that particular stakeholders because they don't have access, right? So the view can help and can facilitate to make it invisible, yeah, because because we can create a views, yeah, only for the available or for the accessible or for the one that is eligible to see that particular requirements, yeah, and we can hide, using certain other views, yeah, to provide to other stakeholders. So that means we enable them to only see what they should be able to have access only, yeah. So in this case, I will agree with Kishore. This statement should be true. Yeah, statement C should be true. Yeah, because we allow the stakeholders who do not have reading access, so they cannot access, yeah, the statement, the requirements. All right, which did not. In other words, the requirements that they did not access, the stakeholders with the if they have the access to the requirements, then they have the ability to see. Yeah, they can be visible to them. Yeah, but if they do not have access, then they should not be given the visible, and they should not be able to see those requirements. I'm sorry. I hope I don't confuse you. Sorry, it's quite simple. All right. Thank you. Okay, number 2. Okay, for this one, the traceability of requirements aimed at several goals indicate the one false statement. Yeah, we're talking about requirements traceability, right? So what is the most of the advantages, yeah, of traceability? It facilitates impact analysis. Exactly, yeah. So when we try to trace, yeah, these requirements into their design phases, into their, implementation, yeah, we'll be able to actually assess, yeah. If you want to do some changes, we can actually see the impact that it can bring, yeah, either forward or backward, all right? And then B, traceability facilitate the verification of implementation as well, yeah. Yeah, because it helps you to go forward and backward, yeah. So we can see what is the output from particular requirement, yeah, that we intend to implement, yeah, or we already implemented. Okay, traceability facilitate finding a requirement source. Yes, if they have the backward link, so they should be able to identify from requirement to the provider of the requirement or to the requirement source of that particular requirement. Yeah. So D is also true. Yeah. So that one is not true. It's not basically the opposite of that should be true. Yeah. Traceability hinder the request for requirement changes. So that is false. Yeah. What is more appropriate is traceability should facilitate, yeah, the request for requirement changes, because it helps you to trace, yeah, what is the impact of that particular changes to the requirements. All right. Correct. So 2 is C. And number 3. Oh, number 3, can you? Daniel Harith, can you read for me number 3? Just to have some different reader. Just the question. Can you help Daniel to read for me?
Question.
Yeah, just a question. Thank you.
Additional information on requirements is managed using attributes. An example of such additional information is a unique identifier. Which of the following statements on the sense of unique identifiers are true and which are false?
Okay.
Unique identifier helpful. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Unique identifiers are helpful. A, for estimating the overall size of the specification. This is true or false? Based on the identifier, can we estimate the overall size? No, it's quite difficult. Yeah, usually the identifiers alone cannot help us to estimate, yeah, the overall size, of course. Yeah, based on the function points, or based on the functionalities, we can estimate the size. Yeah. All right. B, unique identifiers are helpful for having an ambiguous basis for communication. This is true or false?
True.
Louder. Who is that?
True.
True. Okay. Who's saying that? Daniel, is it? No. Kishore. Why you say that is true, Kishore?
Because that's the main purpose of having unique ID, so that we can differentiate between requirements.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so we can refer basically to specific requirements that we are discussing. Yeah, it's much easier. All right, so B should be true. Yeah. Okay, how about C? Unique identifiers are helpful for establishing references to other requirements. True, True, of course. Similar quite to as a basis for communication as well. And then D, unique identifiers are helpful for establishing traceability to other development artifacts. True as well. Yeah, of course. This helps us to refer to the particular requirements, easily, either forward or backward. Yeah. Okay, how about number 4? Okay, we're talking about requirements management. And then why are the changes to the requirements? It's due to the changes in the environment, yes. To the technology, yes. To the customer's expectation, yes. To many others actually. The changes can be due to many others around us, the government, the organizational, the law, the changing law, and so on. So in this case, all of these are possible reasons for the changes. So D is correct. All of the above can give changes. That's why requirements management is important. And then we're talking about requirements management. Basically, we have talked about at least 2 important elements there. 2 important parts, components inside the requirements management, which are requirements traceability, requirements priority. Remember, so we said here, requirement traceability is one of the most important parts of requirements management. It may be referred as the heart of the requirements management. Is it true or false? True, because on this part, many studies currently they realize traceability is very, very important to serve many purposes, including requirement change, and also be able to identify impact analysis and so on. So all of these are actually can help. Requirement traceability can facilitate the other process. Much easier by having all these requirements traceability. All right. Okay, how about the 6? It's quite straightforward, don't worry. I think if you have anything, you just let me know. I can ask questions as well at the end maybe. Okay, number 6. Requirements management has a high initial startup cost, but does not need ongoing funding throughout the project. Is this true or not? You know that the process of managing requirements can be from the early on, from the starting until the end. It has to have to go through the projects, and there can be a lot of things that need to be managed, not just requirements documents. We have to manage the requirements activities. We have to manage the requirements outcome, the outcome from the requirements in the process and so on. So of course, it needs high initial startup costs to set up the system to be managed. At the same time, it needs ongoing funding as well, because the process is keep on going, So that's the reason for this case we say this is false, We always need to have requirements management need to have ongoing funding, throughout the projects, because the activities are keep on going, Managing requirements are always until the end of the projects, even after the maintenance as well, During the maintenance of the requirements as well, systems maintenance. Okay, number 7. What is the functionality of requirements management tool? Okay, so what functionality of requirements management tool is depicted by the statement? The tool should be able to automatically detect relation between artifacts. Any other answers beside this one? Anyone? Daniel, do you have anything? Wait, let me see. Aiman? Do you agree with A? Number 7. Do you have any other answers beside D? Anyone? Anyone? Amar? Zamir?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. Louder.
Yes, doctor.
What do you think of number 7?
So number 7 is what
Yeah.
functionality of requirements management tool is depicted by statement. The tool should be able to automatically detect relations between artifacts.
Yeah. So what should be the answer, Zamir?
D.
D. Why you say D?
Because it's automated link creation and change.
They talk in that particular one, there's a feature, the creation and change.
Maybe because there should be detect relations. Maybe no. Maybe not.
So which one is much more obvious?
Maybe the correct answer is A.
Is why you say A?
Because the automated link detection, because the tool should be able to automatically detect relations.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I understand as well. Yeah, thank you, Zamil. So yeah, based on the one that is given here in the descriptions here, so detection and creation is quite different. Yeah, actually. So that's why when he mentioned just automatically detect relation, so obviously A matches better lah. Yeah, rather than D, because they don't mention anything about creation and change. Yeah, detection is something else. Yeah, from creation and change. Okay, so I think A is much more suitable, rather than D. Okay, all right. Thank you, Zamil. Okay, how about number 8? Okay, we have seen the examples given in your lectures, right? In the lectures about how we can calculate prioritization matrix of WIGER and then the criteria. So in the criteria, you have 4 of them. Yeah, very good. Benefit, penalty, cost, and risk. So what is the output from this particular prioritization matrix? What is the output from the WIGER prioritization matrix? Anyone? when we calculate, when we do the Meagher matrix, right? The Meagher resolution matrix, then we put in for each requirements the cost, the benefit, the risk, the penalty, and then we calculate what is the outcome from that particular formula when we do the calculation. What do you think? Kishore?
We are able to calculate the priorities of requirements.
Yeah, exactly right. We get the priority of each requirements. So for each of the requirements 1, requirements 2, requirements 3, for example, we are calculating the priority. Okay, so that is outcome. Yeah, have to be clear. Thank you. And then what is the assumptions that we make? Yeah, very good. You have put here. So that means when we do the calculation of priority, we put that, you know, when we try to say, okay, the benefit, if we get more for each requirements, if the benefit is high, the penalty is high, then we're going to have a high priority, right? And then if the cost and risk of the requirement is high, then the priority going to be low. Yeah, in terms of the numbers of the, in terms of the, what we call the priority, yeah, value, yeah. So in that case, another way is say that if the priority of the requirement is proportional to the benefits and its penalty. Very good. And the second assumption that we make is that the penalty that we calculate is inversely proportional, yeah, to the cost and the risk of the requirements, yeah. So where do you get this assumption from? We get from the formula being given, yeah. So basically that is the underlying assumption when we try to calculate the priority. We're saying that if the benefit is high and the penalty is high, then the priority of each requirement will be high lah. Yeah. If the cost and the risk of the requirement is high, that means the priority is going to be lower. Yeah. So because of the formula, if you notice, the requirements that the formula that been given to us to calculate the priority of each requirements. All right, excellent. So you managed to get it for the assumptions and the criteria, and then the idea there to calculate priorities. Yeah. So that is the outcome of this Meagher prioritization matrix. All right, that's very good. Okay. So these are some of the questions I hope can help you to understand the concepts that we have discussed in classes, to highlight and review as well. This is about requirements management. Hopefully we can discuss more on the requirements validation and also requirements negotiation. Yeah, for each lecture there are several concepts which are important for you to understand. And some of the questions that we give here in the tutorial can help you hopefully to understand the concepts much clearer. Yeah. All right, so hopefully you can benefit something from this particular tutorial. Okay, any questions on the here before we go to the discussion about projects? You want to clarify, or maybe you have some comments on this one? Some ambiguity as well. No, fully clear. All right, thank you. So how's about your projects? Most of you have started your projects? Projects 2. I put some announcement as well on the spectrum. So some of the materials that you need to report about the projects, if you think that you cannot put anywhere in the sections that has been given to you in the SRS, then you can put in the appendix, the appendix A, appendix B, and appendix C, which one is most appropriate. You can put some information over there, like you want to specify about the target users, or you want to specify about your elicitation techniques, you can put under appendix B, for example. So what are the things that we need for analysis model? Analysis model is basically all the important diagrams that you can describe, that you can develop. The most important thing that I would like to have is the use case diagram. Yeah, because we want to know what for each user that you have, what are the use case, what are the functionalities that you provide to each user. Yeah, so that should be the most important diagram. Yeah, all these diagrams like the what you call the use case diagram, the activity diagram, I mean the class diagram, for example, are actually called or referred to the analysis model. They are also called sometimes analysis model. Yeah, when you analyze the situation and then you develop certain kind of model. Yeah, to represent the use cases or to represent the class, represent the data requirements of the system. So that these are all called analysis. You don't need to develop so many, but only the important. Yeah, I need to know, for example, what are the main functionalities, so that can be easily represented in the use case diagram. Okay, if you want to represent all the important data that you need to keep inside your system, so that can be represented in the class diagram. Okay. And then maybe some of the important process, yeah, the functionalities maybe one or two of your main functions are quite complicated. You might want to draw the activity diagram to show how does it work, yeah, how does it goes, yeah, from one phase to another, from one phase to another, yeah. So you can put in the activity diagram, much easier for me to see as well, yeah. So the SRS that you develop actually is try to tell me about your system. Yeah, you try to mention to me actually what is the objective of your projects, you know, who's your target users, yeah. For each target users, what are the things that they can access, what are the functionalities that they can use, you know, and then you mention as well all the if for the each features, though, you can describe, yeah, in detail, hopefully, yeah, for me to understand how it's going to be working. All right, and of course, I expect, you know, at least you know, you have to be, you know, how do you get all these features? There can be sources. Yeah? It can be from the existing systems. If you have time, you can look from the internet, try to search some of the systems, yeah, with all the important features that you can make use of that to be proposed inside your system. Yeah, but of course the features have to support the objective that you have, yeah, for your system objective as well, yeah. And then at the same time, you also can gather this from your potential stakeholders, yeah, or maybe you can get from your team members, yeah. You have a discussion, yeah, a kind of a brainstorming session, yeah, to be able to brainstorm, yeah, to create, yeah, for example, all these innovative features, yeah. So that will be also helpful. Yeah, I expect that to be done, yeah, so that you will be able to provide not just a simple features, yeah, like login, register, that is too common, yeah. I don't want to see it all the time, yeah. Please put more attractive features, yeah, inside your system. You have learned about Kano model, right? So Kano model classify at least into 3 categories, yeah, features of satisfier, dissatisfier, and you also have to have some wow factor there, yeah. Something that can bring, you know, extra unexpected features to the client or to your users, yeah, to be able to make the systems more powerful, yeah, acceptable to the users or to the stakeholders. So that what I expect as well, yeah, because this is the time, yeah, you can actually brainstorm and try to provide all the innovative possible requirements, because you at least, yeah, for my projects, for this particular to think so much about implementation. Okay, some of you, I know when you go to find your project, you just give a very simple picture. Why? Because I don't think so I can implement them. That's why I just propose all these basic features. Yeah, there's no point. Yeah, at this stage, I think because my project is just focusing so much on identifying good features, interesting features. Yeah, so why don't you take it as a practice? Challenge yourself to come up with good features, yeah, attractive features for your projects, for these projects, basically. Any questions before just questions, anything?
Doctor, does that mean we have to include all the diagrams under appendix?
The main important diagram, Kishore, is the use case diagram. But if you have others like complicated things that you need to explain, and then it's much easier create that diagram, so you create them. So, this is applied to all Important, you create diagram for them. Yeah, we don't create diagram because we want to show, oh, we able to create so many diagrams. No, you only create diagram when it's relevant. So that means if you think that, okay, this is clearer, I already described in words, but it's quite difficult for me to describe everything in words. So I create a diagram because having a diagram is much clearer for the reader, for the stakeholders to understand this material. So I create diagram for it.
How about the use case description? It's not necessary, right?
Good question. Okay, similar. If you create use case, if your use case is very simple, I mean, just one or two, then no point to have a use case description. But if the use case is complex, it's complex. Maybe you have a lot of interaction between you and the system. Then you create them. You write them properly so that you know understand. This is actually the purpose is to be able to do analysis, to extract the data, to see how the data it been processed. Actually, this is where for use case description, this is where you extract data and use the data to represent in your class diagram. Okay, so for use cases, you should be able to describe them well. You should be able to describe them well. I cannot enforce you so much for this stage but if you later on when you do your final year projects, for all the important use case, you should be able to clearly describe them. Yeah, because if you're not clear about that, you're not able to, code them. Not able to code them. It's quite difficult to write the coding implementation if you're not clear about how this use case is going to be implemented. For this case, for my project, this one, I can just mention to you, okay, you do it, please, because you don't feel the needs, you don't feel the necessary to do it. But I'm sure if you, one day later on, you have to present, you have to implement the projects, you have to write the code about it. So you will see that it's very, very important for you to understand the able to clearly understand what kind of data been exchanged between you and the system and so on, each user in the system, how does it interact, and then based on the understanding of your use case description, then you will be able to do the coding. If not, then you'll not be able to do the coding. Believe me, yeah. So at this point, at this point, I can just ask you if these are important use cases, please do the use case descriptions lah. Yeah. You get it, Kishore?
Yes, Doctor. And I would like to ask if you can provide feedback for our project 1 so that we can improvise in project 2.
Sorry, did you say that again?
Can you provide feedbacks from our project 1 so that we can improvise in project 2?
Okay. Just let me email to me, Kishore.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Hopefully, I try. If you send early, then I can have a look and give some feedbacks, inshallah. Anything else? Daniel, Liani, Cheryl, Azizi, have you started your projects? What is your project name, Azizi? All right, so who's the target user? Oh, beginners, novice cook, yeah? So, what is the objective again? What is the objective again? What is the objective? To teach them how to cook or to give them idea? So, what is the functionalities that you provide? Just one or two you can mention. So your system, what does it do? You provide sharing. So your objective is what again? To give ideas, to share ideas. What that again? What is to do? What? I cannot see the connection between that what you said just now with the online community. Online community is what actually? What do you consider online community? What is that? For, from the RE perspective, what is online community? So you are Amar is the leader. You are the leader, Azize. Who is the leader? Munir. How many meetings already you have done? You have performed online meeting. Twice. Have you divided the work? So have you discussed the objective very well? You have not discussed yet very well. I mean, it seems like you're not so clear about the objective. Is it true? No. You're depending on someone else, so that means you're not clear yet, then, Azizi? Is that true? Okay, so you can still discuss more. Yeah, the objective has to be very clear, because based on the objective, then you can decide what kind of features that you can provide, you can propose to support the objective. If your objective is to teach people or to teach people how to cook, then the features will be different from if your objective is to share recipes. If you want to share recipe, then there will be different features that will be provided. But I don't know what is your objective if you want to have online community. Do you consider online community as a feature? System features? User features? So what does online community do? What does it do? The online community is what actually? Is it a feature or your system is been called the online community? It's a feature. So in the online community, what are the things that is provided? So this is a sharing session. Is it? So you have to be clear about, I mean, what are the things that is supported under online community? Yeah. All right. So similar, yeah. You have to be clear about your objective, and then for each objective, who's your target users? In order to achieve your objective, what are the features? Yeah. You can propose several features to support your objective. All right. So so once you clear that one, then you describe about the features that you have. You can look from the user's features. User features is quite big. Yeah, I think you have seen, for example, you look at your Microsoft Word. What are the user features that they provide? They can have one important user features like the file file creation, right? The user can create files. So that is like features, yeah. User features, they can create file, yeah. They can actually, within the file, they can do a lot of things, right? Creation, deletion, yeah, or convert to PDF, you know, convert, I mean, all these save as different formats and so on. So that is one features example. Yeah, but what is the objective of Microsoft Word? To enable user to create documents, you know. Yeah, so they already have the objective. That's why they have to have the features, and then they can have sub functionalities lah. Yeah, system functionalities that can help them for the users to accomplish their work. That's how you can see the relationship. Yeah, the objective is clear, the users, and then the features that they have, the features, the user features, main features, and then they can have some functionalities below to support. Yeah. Examples taken from Microsoft Word, for example, lah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at it. That is the way that we assess systems. You want to see whether the features that you provide are good. Are they supporting of your objective or not? And then you describe about your features, have to be clear. And then if there are a lot of data, you have to specify that in the some diagrams lah. Yeah, specifying some diagrams, the class diagram, for example, to support that kind of features, yeah, to be implemented, to be used, yeah. All right, good. Yeah, so have more discussion. Yeah, I asking you certain things just now, some probe questions. That's how you ask your friend as well, in the team, and you do this discussion. Yeah, what do you mean by this? Because you have to clarify. When you suggest something, and then you have to clarify. You have to be clear, because it can be very ambiguous. People are just talking about certain feature, but you're not sure what that features is. So you have to be clearer by discussing. Okay, I mean this thing. This is supposed to do this. This is supposed to do that. So that's how you clarify things until you be very clear, and then be able to write them, or be able to represent them in the diagram. Yeah, people start from very ambiguous things, of course. Yeah, just an idea. And how do you get to refine the idea? By discussion, by talking, yeah, by asking questions, yeah. All this enable you to refine the ideas until you be able to present it in a very accurate way, in the words. More accurate in the diagram. And more accurate later on, you're going to do coding. Yeah, hopefully, yeah, not in this course, yeah, later on, yeah. So it's similar. You start from idea, clarifying them, discussing them, yeah, until you be able to write them, be able to present them, be able to actually specify them, and then be able to do the coding for implementation. All right. So, but this is not just one. It takes time. That's why for software development process, a lot of meetings, clarifying, try to validate, try to actually asking, clarifying in terms of what need to be done, this is what you mean or not, and so on, yeah. Verifying, validating, and so on, yeah. So a lot of discussion can help you to be better refinement, yeah, because everything, yeah, our requirements here have to come from usually very vague until you refine to be very, 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 from very vague things, yeah, you try to refine and to be very specific, to be able to specify them, yeah, at least, yeah, until, yeah, our stage is to refine and coming out with the specification in the words, yeah, or in the diagram. But later on, if you see the same thing, yeah, they will be refining it. You also have the experience, right? You have to write a program. So later on, this will need to be converted into programs. Yeah, so that is the idea, yeah, that is our job. All right, any questions? Any feedbacks, comments? I answered that one, right? This one you need to have a new project. Yeah, Daniel, did I answer you? Who is asking this one? Nor Liani. Okay, sorry, Nor Iliani. You're asking me for project 2, do we need to find new web base? Yes, a new system. It's a new system. Yeah, project 1 last time based on the existing system. Someone else developed the systems and then you just try to identify what are the features, try to write a report about it. But project 2 is obviously a new system. You want to propose it. You have to identify your own objective, your target users and your features and your functionalities and your data requirements and so on. Is it clear, Liani? Okay, Liani? Anything else? Daniel? Yes, Liani? Okay? All right. So you're very shy, this group? Cannot cannot hear anything? Sia? Ong? Shakina? No, this is one previous. Okay. All right. Kishore, anything else?
I'm good, doctor.
So far so good?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Just try your best. Yeah, you try your best. Yeah. So I hope that this course helps you. Yeah. If you need any feedback, try to email to me. Not too close before you have to submit the day before. Don't ask me questions like because it's too late. But now from now on, you can still ask me questions. Yeah, email to me. I try my best to reply. Yeah, inshallah. All right. Anything else? Last question before we end. Amirul, okay. Zamil.
Okay, doctor.
All right, clear, Zamil? No issue,
Yes.
All right, that's all. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.